Hey, good morning. Shavua Tov on a new week. Parshas Vayechi. We finished the book of Genesis. It's only 1 year ago that our son Eli had his bar mitzvah on this Shabbos. It was January 10th, I think. And it was a beautiful day. It was 60, 70 degrees that Saturday, Sunday. And it's good memories. I can't believe we're a year later and the world is a changed world. It's probably not a good week to ask this because the Patriots just got knocked out of the playoffs for the first time, I think, in 11 or 12 years. But have you ever been to a Patriots tailgate party? You know, where they go, they get together and they have a barbecue before and they drink beer and then they go in the freezing cold and they stand out at a game. And sometimes these people go to a Patriots game. It's literally below zero, frigid. And they stand outside for hours watching players throw a ball. And it's an interesting thing. I've never done it, but I have a thought. Yesterday I figured it out. But before we go there, a little thought on the parsha and a little joke before that. They say the story about this guy who's at a Patriots playoff game. It's the Super Bowl, whatever, and he sees that there's a guy right in front of him, a box seat right in the front, and there's an empty seat next to him. So he says, "Hey, whose seat is that?" He says, "My wife's." He says, "What happened?" He says, she couldn't make it. He says, "So why didn't you give it to your kid?" He couldn't make it either. How about your brothers or sisters? They couldn't make it either. No friends? No, nobody. He says, "Why couldn't anybody make it? Where are they all?" He says, "Oh, they're all at my wife's funeral." So this guy couldn't even give up the funeral to miss the game. And people have this fascination with sports where they're ready to be out in the cold and the frigid just to watch the game. This week's Torah portion is called Vayechi and he lived. But really, the name of the portion doesn't really speak about what happened there because Jacob passes away. And when Jacob finally, it's a very emotional portion, Jacob calls Joseph and his 2 sons, and then he calls all his children and he blesses them and he gives them guidance. And then it says, Vayigva Vayasef Elam of Jacob expired and he gathered to his nation. And the rabbis ask a question in the Talmud. The rabbis say a fascinating quote, Gemara Tractate Tainis. Yaakov Avinu loy meis. Jacob didn't die. So the rabbi said, what do you mean Jacob didn't die? The Gemara says, didn't they bury him? Didn't this kid say Kaddish for him? What do you mean he didn't die? Of course he passed away. So just because the Torah doesn't use the word dead, it uses the word expired, it means he didn't die. And the Gemara answers one of the most powerful statements that we have as Jews to understand what life is and what it means to live. And the Gemara says, Ma'azaroi b'chayim afu b'chayim. That just as his children live on, so too does Jacob live on. What's the Gemara telling us? The Gemara is saying, what's real life? Is real life the home you buy? Is it the food you eat? Is it the clothing you wear? Is it the football games you go to? What is life? Life is the spiritual things we do. It's the kindness we do. It's the prayers we make. It's the connection we have with our soul. So Jacob, maybe his body died, but his soul continues to live. And when his children continue that tradition, when you see that Jacob had 12 children, they all followed in his way. Jacob didn't pass away. His body might have expired, but look at his kindlach, look at his einiklach. They live on. And that has been a motto. I've said it to so many people who have lost loved ones, and it's been so hard for them to miss their loved ones. I always remind them, because the Rebbe spoke about this at length, the idea that life, especially as Jews who believe in afterlife, life doesn't expire when your body expires. And when the children continue the ways of their parents, when you light Shabbos candles or wrap tefillin or keep Shabbos, and you're continuing the traditions of your loved ones, your parents, your grandparents, that just like Jacob didn't die, they don't die. But why am I saying all this? So, we've had Shul since Memorial Day. We closed at the beginning of COVID. Our last event was Purim. And then, unfortunately, we closed. We actually had a bar mitzvah planned for that Shabbos. A big bar mitzvah, but we couldn't do it. And then we stayed closed till Memorial Day. And Memorial Day weekend, we opened up outside. And we've been outside ever since. Last week it snowed, and 1 week before we had to go inside. But what did we do? We moved back to our shul. The way our shul works, there's sliding doors in the back, and there's a patio. So we open up the sliding doors, and we let people choose. If you want to be with a mask inside, you could be inside. Or you want to be outside, you could be outside. Yesterday, I came to shul, and it was cold. It was about 29 degrees. And I came, and there was a lovely doctor there who had walked a couple of miles, and he was dressed in a coat and with gloves. You could see he was dressed in the works. And he takes a sitter, he gets a chair, he opens the sliding door, and he's sitting outside. And I was surprised, because obviously we keep the rules and we don't go past 25% capacity, but we want to keep a minyan through the winter in case someone has to say Kaddish in a safe manner. But I figured it's so cold, and to be outside, even though during COVID we've been davening a little quicker, we start at 10, we're finished by 11:30, and then we have cholent and herring outside with scotch, everyone separates, and we have a little bit of l'chaim to warm our bodies and souls. But this guy goes outside. So listen, I'm the rabbi. I already had COVID. I have antibodies. I got checked again. But listen, the rabbi goes with his people. So I go outside. I figured that would be it. I turn around by the time I'm ready to read the Torah and then to give my Torah. There was 12, 13 people standing outside or sitting outside in the frigid cold, bundled up, davening. And I thought to myself, these people could be home. They could be drinking hot chocolate, reading a book, reading the Journal, the Times, whatever paper, playing a game of Settlers of Catan with their kids, relaxing. It's vacation time. It's literally a quietest week of the year in general. And here they are, bundled up in the freezing cold, sitting outside for 2 hours because they want to daven, because they want to be close to Hashem. And it blew my mind. And I thought to myself, now I understand what's going on. Those people go to tailgate and to celebrate the Patriots in the frigid cold and below zero weather, because that's where their passion is. When you're passionate about something, when you love something, cold doesn't make a difference. It could be frigid, it could be ice. On the contrary, it adds to, you bundle up and you drink before and you eat before. But for these Jews, Judaism's their passion. So it's cold. Yes, they could sit at home in their couch, or they could still be in bed in their PJs, drinking hot chocolate, whatever they would be doing, eating a delicious breakfast. But their passion is God. Their passion is Judaism. So often people tell me, Rabbi, what's going to be the future of Judaism? And there's a lot to worry about. Jews are more apathetic, less engaged in their Judaism. Much less Jews care about Israel, about raising their children Jewish. There's much more intermarriage, and people worry. But when I saw what I saw yesterday, I reminded myself that there isn't what to worry. Mazarei b'chaim afu b'chaim. Just as Jacob's children continue to live, they're passionate about their Judaism, they love it, they make sacrifices for it. Afu b'chaim, Jacob continues to live. Literally, you understand the verse that the Talmud explains us. 3,500 years later, 3,500 years after Jacob passed away, the Jewish people are still ready to stand outside in the cold and the frigid to make a minyan, to hear Kaddish, to hear Torah reading. Do we have to worry about the future of Judaism? Azari b'chaim, afu b'chaim. Growing up, my parents always told me, I read these stories about my great uncle in Russia and the self-sacrifice they went to find a mikvah. They would break ice in the ocean because they would have to hide from the Russian communist government. There was such self-sacrifice of people and their connection to Judaism. And I always wondered, look, we live in America, in a country of so much luxury, of so much abundance, of materialism. We don't have any self-sacrifice. Life is too good. And where is that passion? And yesterday I saw it. Self-sacrifice doesn't mean running away from someone who wants to hurt you. Self-sacrifice means diminishing and giving away from your material expectations and desires to be more spiritual and connected to Hashem. And I'll leave you with a story talking about mikveh. Because Meir Premishlam was a great pre-war Hasidic master. And he lived in a city, and the only way to get to the mikveh, to the ocean, there was a big, big mountain in front of them. In the winter, it got all iced up. And basically, everyone who wanted to go to the mikveh would have to go all the way around the mountain, and then they would be able to get to the water. But the Rebbe would go down the mountain, literally down, and he would get there, and he never slipped. And one time his Chassidim asked him, I don't understand, it's so icy, it's so dangerous, everyone else slips and they have to go on the side. How do you do it? And he told them a beautiful line in Yiddish. He said, "As mis zugebunden eben fällt man nicht unten." It's a metaphor, but it's a powerful one. If we're tied up above, you don't fall below. What he was saying is when you're connected to Hashem, when you have passion for Judaism, when you're ready to stand out in the cold because you want to hear Kaddish, because you want to hear Baruch Hu, because you want to daven with a minion, because you just want to be connected to another Jew, to another soul, you want to be spiritual, then you don't fall. Your connection stays strong. Hashem bless us that we should each have a way and a place that we do our own tailgate party, that we are ready to get out of our comfort zone for God, for Judaism, for spirituality, because then we guarantee that Jacob continues to live. Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Rachel, Leah, Sarah, Rebecca, our parents, our grandparents, and that our kids will continue to live with passion, with love, with commitment, with sacrifice, for the values that they hold dear, for the things that they love, for the connection to Hashem. God bless you. Have a great Sunday. There's a lot of beautiful ideas on this week's Torah portion, and we hope to get each day to one idea, God willing. Shavua Tov.